What's up, people? Peri here with the start of something I'd like to call Ask Peri, and this is all about answering your questions that you leave in the comments down below. If you do have a question about design yourself, be sure to leave it in the comments, of course, and hopefully in the next episode I'll be able to answer them for you. So this first question, just to get things all started, comes from GearStone LP. And they ask, what would you say the best way to design a wall using stairs as a texture would be? Well, GearStone, here's what I think about it. The first thing I would tell you is that the stairs themselves, they have textures in them. And one of the things that I like to stress when it comes to design is that as much as we want to cram in detail into a design, the best thing to do is just to keep it simple. And then from there, you can kind of extrapolate on it and add to it as you go along, because if you start adding in too much texture, too much this and that here and there, you tend to come up with something that's a little bit of a mess. And I saw that in your comment. You said that your builds turn out to be a bit of a mess. So best thing I can tell you, just keep it simple. Pick a block that is, I guess, simple in texture, something like the stone brick. I wouldn't go with cobblestone if you can try and avoid it. Some of these intermediate textures right here, some of these woods, the nether brick, the regular brick, and of course these sandstone blocks right here. But for what we're going to use as an example, I'm going to pick the simplest block of them all, which is these quartz stairs. It's a nice simple block, and again, we're keeping it simple, but we can come up with some really amazing designs out of it. So the next tip I have for you is to basically build a simple wall just to get things started off, so that when you go ahead and put in your design, you have something, a base to work off of. Because right now, as it is, because it's a simple wall, we're able to just place down blocks just like so. And we don't have to worry about, I have to stand here in order to place this block there or whatever. It allows us to concentrate purely on making a design for ourselves. And then, we don't have to worry about all the nitty gritty stuff. So the next thing I want to tell you is to choose a simple pattern. And you're noticing a theme here, just keeping it simple. Simple, simple, simple. And it's really the best way to get things started. Of course, later on, you will end up expanding on the design, coming up with something better. That's great. But in order for you to get things started off, keep it simple. Keep it simple. So what we have here is a pretty simple design. Simple, simple, simple. Seems to be the theme of this episode right now. But what I'm trying to do here is trying to illustrate to you that just because it looks simple does not mean that you can't get an interesting texture out of it. So check this out. Once we expand on it, we come up with something like this. Pretty cool. Now, because we use such a simple looking pattern, we allow the stairs themselves to kind of make the texture what it is by using the uniqueness of the stair. And I think it looks pretty cool, in my opinion. Now, some of you are thinking, okay, Peri, this is okay looking, but it's not really working for me. There's got to be some sort of more interesting type of pattern that you could do in order to make these stairs look a little bit better. And to you, I say, yes, you can. Yes, you can. And what we're going to do is we're going to make another pattern, but we're going to change things up a little bit. Instead of putting the stairs kind of like that, we'll try adding them like so. So something like that. And all we have to do now is repeat it. And we come up with something like this, a pretty cool looking textured wall. And that all came from these 4 blocks right here. Now, you can put them in any order that you want to. It's all up to you whether or not you want to do that. But the simple thing about it is that we allow the stairs itself to become the texture. So we're not overcomplicating things, but we're just coming up with a simple pattern that we can just repeat throughout. And I think that we can get something of a pretty cool pattern. All right, bonus tip time. I saw GearStone, you had actually commented by mistake on a video that was earlier in my series of videos, but in it you asked a little bit of a different question, and you talked about using stairs as a carving in a wall. And immediately when I thought carving, I'm thinking Mount Rushmore. You want to try and do something along those lines. So I came up with a little something for you to show you how to carve into a wall, not necessarily using stairs, but you can see right here that the wall itself is about 4 blocks deep, and this will allow us to kind of make the carving that we want, and I'll show you why in just a second. But the next thing that I would want you to do is to either find a picture of what you want to carve into a wall. If it's something that's in your head, try to draw it out. And the reason for that is that it allows us to kind of plan ahead at what we want to do with the wall itself. And the reason why I say that is that you can see right here, and this is a pretty simple example for myself because I can pick out where the blocks are going to be exactly on this wall, but the principles are pretty much still the same. You can see that there's some darker lines and there's some lighter than that, and then it goes lighter, and then the lightest right here. And this is very important when we're carving into a wall. We want to give it a little bit of a 3D type texture. So the idea behind it is that these darker lines are going to be the ones that we tunnel into the wall. So something like that. Oh, that's too far. We'll do that for now. But we want to start off by making these darker lines. Those will be the ones we tunnel in the most. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do this first. There we go. So we have our outline. The darkest lines right here are the deepest in our carving. The next thing that we want to do is to go with the next darkest line, which is this part right here. And we're going to go ahead and take away that area. So there we go. We've taken out the next darkest part of the apple. And then we want to go ahead and find the next darkest area, which is going to be this big yellow part right here. And there you have it. Our own little carving in the wall. And it's just as simple as taking the dark areas, tunneling them in as far as you can, and then from there you work out the different gradients of color. So the next darkest part would be your next deepest, and then from there you get out to the next darkest and then the lightest part, and then you come up with something like this. And basically all it is we're taking a two-dimensional object and turning it into 3D somewhat. But hopefully this answers your question, GearStone. I hope I answered your question, and that's going to be it for this episode. If you have your own question, be sure to leave it down in the comments below. Hopefully in the next episode I'll be able to answer them for you. So don't forget to hit that like button if you so choose, and if you're new to this channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. That's it for me. Always remember, keep your head up, and I'll see you in the next one.